Hello, everyone. Welcome to our family engagement session of our director series. So we are thrilled to have you here. And the goal of this session is to continue brainstorming ways to actively engage our families in our programs in a meaningful way. And we also want to share ideas of how we are currently implemented family engagement in all the programs, because family engagement is one of those things that is very unique to the culture of your program, to the families that you serve. So it will look different depending on each program. Each program will have their own very unique family engagement. So we want to hear ideas to pick up from each other, to learn, to see what has been successful in your program and potentially others can implement it. So this is very much a collaborative effort that we're all aiming to do. And as a learning community, where we have our own family, we want to continue sharing this with everybody. And again, my name is Alexandra Portillo. I am the founder of A Learning Community, and our goal is to continue providing educational courses and individualized coaching to each and every one of you. And this series couldn't be possible without Nixa Singh, who is now a retired early childhood educator, but served the early childhood field for over 20 years. So she is very seasoned. She has walked in each and every one of your shoes, and she knows what it's like to be a leader in a program. And we will start off with this family engagement quote. A child's first and most influential teacher is their parent. Family engagement in education is the key to a child's success. And this quote is anonymous, so we don't know who it came from, but we know the value when families are engaged in whatever is happening in the child's educational world. We know that when families are actively involved and they're going hand in hand with what their child is learning, it is absolutely beneficial to their lifelong learning. So as programs, our goal is to continue engaging families to the best of our abilities so we can continue supporting children's success.
So as Alex mentioned, I strongly believe that parents are the child's first teachers, and they're the ones that can, give them all those skills that they need, start those skills rolling, like gross motor skills and emotional tides and all the skills that children need in order to develop into an adult, right? So sometimes families don't know what they need to do with children. They don't know at what age a child should be walking or talking, or actually how to engage with other children, how to have physical connection as well. So that's why it's so important that we, as educators, the first thing that we do within the first 45 days is to actually do the ASQs or any kind of social emotional development assessment so that we can know where the child is. And, we work with the families to fill out these tools, the ASQs assessment tools. Most people use these. There may be other tools that can be used, but we sit with the families and we go over this tool and we explain why are these things so important and how we as educators can support them to have children achieve their milestones, right? But it's a process that, in order for us to do this with the families, they have to be physically tied to us as well. They have to trust us. They have to know that we're vested in what we want to do with their child to support all of their needs. And the family has to feel comfortable with us as well, right? So the conversations need to start early on. Like we said in the previous workshops that we've had thus far, we said that making those connections with parents as soon as they come in through the door is very important, so that they can have a sense of, this is a good environment. This is a place where I want my child to be. They seem to care about my children. They seem to care about me as an individual, and they want me to be a part of the whole group in the program. So what we want to start is with the assessments and how that looks. The assessment tool should be done as a group. The teacher and parents sit together. Sometimes it's not always that way because, families have things that they need to do and they don't have a moment, a half an hour to carve out of their day to do it together with the teacher. And that's fine. You can have the family sit with, take the tool home, do it, and then come back. And if the teacher seems to have a discrepancy with what the family is saying as opposed to what your observations are, you can sit down and say, Mommy, this is what I've observed thus far. Do you think we could change this number, or do you think that we could leave it and revisit it again? So those are things that you can actually do with your families. So either you sit with them or you let them take it home and actually do it on their own. And then when you do these assessments, sometimes you notice that there are certain children that are not meeting those milestones, that they're not actually doing what they're supposed to, the stage of development that they should be according to their chronological ages, right? And it doesn't mean that there's something drastically wrong. Sometimes when a child comes into a new environment, they may not perform like they normally do at home because they're getting used to the environment, they're getting used to the people. So we can't jump the gun and say, well, I think this child has a delay, especially during a speech. Some children are very reserved, so the first time in a program, and so it takes them a good minute to get used to it, right? So all you have to do is the teachers continuously do observations, 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 and not only observe the children during the time that they're in your classroom working with the other children, but observe more when their parents come, because that's when a child opens up. They see their parent walking through the door and they start talking. Like, I've had children that my office was directly in front in the hallway. I could see all the parents walking out and then exiting, and children that were so conservative and reserved in the classroom and not really speaking at the beginning of the year, they were chattering about everything that happened in the classroom. And then, I had to go back and tell teachers, well, this child does speak and this child is saying X, Y, and Z. And he or she was very happy. And, they were telling the whole day to the parent. So we also have to give time for that. But when those things happen where you give ample time, you see that the growth is not happening, then that's when we have those conversations that we also discussed previously. Those difficult conversations that we have to sit with parents. More importantly, bring observations with you that the teachers have noted. As a director, you should go and do your own observation, meet with your teachers prior to sitting with the family, and go over everything thoroughly, and then have a meeting. Again, always giving the parent the option either to meet with the teacher independently or to meet together with the director. Sometimes families feel that they don't want the director to be involved because it means that, all eyes are on them, and they feel that maybe it's something that they did, which is not the case. But, we have to give them the opportunity. That's why this is all called involvement. It's not, we have to let the parents feel the comfort that they're making choices for themselves. But it has to be addressed. This is very important. When there's delays with children, they have to be addressed as soon as possible so that we can support their growth and development. Okay, so now empowering families through workshops, right? This is so important. you know, the way a family feels part of the community is by being actively involved. And we also discussed this previously, that how are the ways that we can ask parents um, to give us an idea of how they want to be involved, right? They want to be engaged in your program. So now we get those surveys, the tallies, the suggestion box, anything that we put together to ask parents what they want. Now is the time for you as the director to put that into practice. What is it that you're doing? What did they ask you? Did they ask you to have workshops? Workshops on growth and development, workshops on healthy eating, workshops on career ladders for the parents themselves, workshops about going back to school. So these are all topics that can be addressed in a parent workshop. It doesn't necessarily have to mean all about the child, but it also has to be about the parents and their personal growth and how they then can support their children, right? So if families want to have workshops on how to go back to school, then you find somebody. And there's so many resources out there in the Department of Health website that you yourself can put a meeting agenda and give parents information. And also you can request like pamphlets on different things. And there's many resources out there that you can tap into too. Aspire has a lot of resources as well. They have people that do come to the programs and give workshops on different topics, or you could do it virtually with your staff. So some of them are free, some of them are you have to pay for them, but there are so many resources.
And Nikki, we have a question on the chat. So this one
Yes.
says, what do we do when a parent does not accept the fact that the child may have a developmental delay? So what do you recommend in that scenario?
Yes. I've had that happen many, many times. And you as a leader, you continue to do the observation, you continue to support the child as best as he or she can. I guarantee you that before the year is out and this continues to, as the child, usually when children have issues, as they get older, these issues continue to escalate, right? So if you have aggression, when they're little, the aggression is very minimal because they're not able to throw a chair, or they're not able to topple over a table, or they're not able to throw a toy in long distance, right? But as they grow older and the aggression continues to grow and the child is growing also physically, and they're stronger, they have more agility, they can run, they can climb. When the parents start seeing this, then you know they are more apt to accept it. I would not give up. I would have another meeting, and we could say to the parent, this is our observations, this is what we continue to observe. It's absolutely your choice to do whatever you feel is best for your child, because even if we try to get them to have the child evaluated, usually the way I go through it is I go through speech, or social emotional. That's how I feel that they're not attaching to the teachers, or they're not interacting well with their peers. Because once you get that evaluation going, remember, it's a comprehensive evaluation. They're not only going to do the speech, they're not going to only do social emotional. There's psychiatrists, psychologists, all different gamuts of, professionals that get together, and they make a conclusion as to what are the services that this child needs, right? So I had a child in my last year that the mother was really adamant about not getting him evaluated. But as she saw the other children in the classrooms, vocabulary increased tremendously, that they were able to sit in activities. And you invite the parent to come and see, sit with us, come and see his behavior in the class. You're not going to say anything. The child is going to be the child no matter who's there, right? So you have to open your doors and give them that opportunity to see for themselves what's happening. It's something that we as educators try to support our parents, but it's ultimately their choice to make.
Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, that was very comprehensive. You do all your best to provide the resources, information, but at the
Right.
end of the day, it's their choice. And we as educators, it hurts to see them go through that because we developmentally we know what's best, but it's their choice. Yeah.
Right.
It's their
And
choice.
so you get your parents involved in workshops, you get the parents involved in what they want to do in the classroom. And also, I think it's important to empower parents into feeling part of your community by doing the pack and letting them decide what it is that they want to, what are the goals for the year for the school? What is it that they want to accomplish in each individual classroom? And it may not be, you have a committee for each given classroom, or you can have an overall, you do have an overall committee. But depending on the age of the group, the resources or what they want to, the goals that they want to accomplish can look differently. So that's okay, because you're not going to do the same for a 1 year old as you're going to do for a 4 and 5 year old. So having those committees sitting down, what is it that we want to see? We want to be able to open a resource of library. We want to be able to open a music room. We want to be able to do an end of year celebration where it's all about the families and the children. So you let the parents decide. You also can give them suggestion as to what can happen in each individual classroom, but allow them to make that choice. So here we put additional consideration is multilingual support. It's great when people come in with their native language, with their native culture, to share those things with the children in the classroom. And also flexible scheduling. Maybe the workshops will work early in the morning, or they may work later on in the afternoon. Whatever works best for the parents. Usually it was later on in the afternoon, and I know as directors we're tired at the end of the day. There's so many things happening, but you carve off of that portion. You could do it. You don't have to do it. You could do it every month. You don't have to do it every biweekly. You could do it every month, and it may look different from month to month too. And if it doesn't allow for people to actually come into the program and sit together as a group, then you do a virtual workshop. It was nice when we were able to sit together. Parents met each other. It was always like the mommy of so and so, the daddy of so and so. Like we lose our identity once we have children. Nobody really knows your name. They know your child's name, right? But it was nice because they got to know one another. They interacted with one another. It was really, really nice a few years back, and I'm hoping that this will come back into provision, that this will happen again, and I'm sure it will now.
And then we continue on to family events.
Okay, so this is, I mean, there's so much that you could do with family events, and not only events, but also that things that happen within the classroom that you can engagement at home that families then could share in the center. For example, during the units of studies, there are so many things that our teachers would do. For example, the building unit, right? The building unit incorporates, like, wherever the teacher wants to go. Like some of my teachers would concentrate more on materials and how buildings are constructed with what type of materials. They would also speak about the different buildings in different parts of the world, like igloos or mud houses, or tree homes, all the things that could exist throughout the world. They would do that and put up in the block area so that the children will try to build these buildings, because the classroom has to be absorbed in whatever unit of study that you're doing. So it has to have a reflection in every single one of your areas, right? in the dramatic play area, they would do a tool, and they would actually speak about the tools that it takes to construct buildings, and they would have the children um, build. They would put boxes of cardboard, and they would try to build it together, a structure. So these are things that when the family gets involved in this, and they see the teachers lesson plans and the newsletters, then always in the newsletter there should be some engagement piece. So for this particular unit of study, what they would do is they would allow the parents to build a structure whatever they wanted to represent. They could have done a native home, or they could have done the place that they're living in now, or they could have done their favorite place to visit. And I mean, you get amazing things that together the child and the families build together. It is so beautiful. And then what we would do in one of the rooms, we had a large room. And if you don't have a large room where you could display them all, you could just display it over the children's cubby and let the parents come and see what every single families did. And it's good. You know why this is beautiful to do? Because even those families, and we always have them, there are some families that don't really like to participate for whatever given reasons. It could be resources, or it could be just given time. But when they see children bringing in things, they start to, get it together, and they start to be actively engaged and involved. It brings something good in everyone when you're doing it collectively. There's no judgment. There's no, and we're not actually calling out any of the families that are not doing it, but we encourage them, and we say, if you need resources, please come and see us, and we could try to help you with whatever it is that you may need to build the structure, right? So be mindful of that also. Always make sure that people are in different situations in their lives, and they may not have the resources. Another thing that I did, which was absolutely, I did it only twice because it does take a long time. So if collectively your parent board wants to do something that is going to be like off the top, like we did this when we wanted to build a library, and we wanted to purchase books, and our goal was to also have a lending library for the families, something that they can come in, look at a book that they're interested in, sign it out. And each of the books, we had a three a little index card, and we would write like what were the main characters, so that they could have communication after the book was read. So this is what the parents wanted. So I was saying, well, how are we going to get enough money to do all of this? It's expensive. So Alex put a beautiful basket there, and it actually represented most of the baskets that we put together. And so we did a basket. Every classroom was assigned a different theme within the basket. So we did a spa basket. We did a kitchen basket. We did a Thanksgiving, because this was like right before Thanksgiving. So we did another one for giving thanks. And in there, it had the entire meal, everything for that meal. So it was before Thanksgiving that we did this. But the families, they were so into it. And they were huge baskets. And the families themselves, they were the ones who brought it. So for the kitchen baskets, there were mitts, there were potato peelers, there were timers, there were measuring cups, the kitchen towels. It had such a big array of everything. For the spa one, they had beads, they had bottles of wine, they had crackers, cheese and crackers. It was like a relaxation one. And then for the Thanksgiving one, we had a full, I mean, the program donated the turkey, and then all the families brought in the fixings. And they were beautiful baskets. And then what we did is we put it in cellophane wrap, beautiful, decorated, and then we put it out and we labeled them basket A, B, and C, or whatever, one, two, three. And then we wrote everything that was incorporated in that basket. And we sold the tickets for $5. That was back then, $5. And I can't tell you how much money we made. It was wonderful. And the families were so happy. And so we met our goal of being able to do the lending library. And the parents had a great time doing it and putting it together.
That's so amazing. So two, building community, but also raising funds.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah, it was a win-win.
That's amazing. And I'm also wondering, what are other family events that maybe you all have tried and that have been successful, or if you have any ideas of, or something that you might have in mind that you might want to do in the future?
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Fabiola.
Yes, I was thinking of the activities that we used to do, pre-pandemic. Now
Yes.
we are doing it little by little, but before we used to do like movie nights
Oh,
where
nice.
the families come, like after 6, they come and we prepare the classroom for different movies and they decide which one they want to go. We sell food, all of that was prepared by the same teachers. Um, so we used to have that one. We used to have like Daddy Bring Your Child to School Day
Yes.
that the parents used to come. We have, different activities for mothers, for grandparents. We have different types of days so they can come with their kids and do like art activities. We also did like the raffles for Thanksgiving, like different things that we can incorporate the families during the buildings theme. I remember that one of the show and tells were that they need to make different types of buildings with their families, like recycle using recycling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we prepare like a museum and for the families to come and see like the
Right.
whole community that it was built by them with their kids. It was like a family thing. So it was amazing. The families were very engaged, and they were a lot of family engagement. So it was great.
Very nice.
Now we're doing
Very
it little by little.
Yeah, now it's it is. It's gonna take time for you to go back to pre-pandemic. But I think that
Yes.
we're in a better shape this year, obviously, because things are going much better. I also did we also did, give celebrating the special women in our lives, or celebrating the special men in my life. So what I would do is I would make a breakfast for all of the women in the individual class, because we didn't have a room where everyone could gather together. And I didn't do it as Mother's Day or Father's Day, because we have to be more mindful of the fact that some children may not have a mother. And so it was just celebrating the special women. And then our board would allow us to buy a small token of a gift for each of the parents that came, or escorts, or whatever, whomever was the special woman designated. And we would give them a little gift. And for the fathers, what we did was we had take your breakfast with you. So we had a bag with croissants and muffins and a juice and a fruit, and we would give them to the parents. And the parents were so happy to take pictures with their children, giving the breakfast. We used to call it breakfast on the go. So all those things are wonderful, Fabiola. Your ideas were great. And I'm sure that other people have other forms of engaging their families, and each and every one of them are great. As long as you do it mindfully and respectfully, that's what the families want to do, and it's not you're imposing this on them.
Thank you. Movie nights seem to be very popular. Ivy also mentioned movie nights and then picture collages, just showing the children as they're engaging in different activities in the program. That's also a great way for families to get a little window of what's going on in the program. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, that was nice. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, opportunities for home learning. There are many opportunities that you can give your families. First and foremost, it goes back to the newsletter. In the newsletter, it should depict what it is that the teachers are doing for the work. Sometimes it could be monthly, it could be every 3 weeks, it could extend to 6 weeks. And in that newsletter, it also, and in the lesson plans, it'll show the different books that the teachers are reading to the children, and the activities that are being done in the classroom. So the families can mimic those activities and take it a step further at home. Always make families be comfortable in coming to you as teachers and directors. So how can I continue to reinforce this at home? Can you please give me ideas? And you know that in the creative curriculum, there are many opportunities and many ideas that teachers can share with the families. So just make it that families feel comfortable in coming to you so that they can get additional resources. So, age appropriate means that it has to be according to the child's age or their ability, because some children are more able to do higher tasks, or maybe some children cannot be at their age. So, it's got to be a little bit scaled down, but everyone can do an activity. And just make it inviting for families to come and speak to you and give, so that you can give suggestion as to what to do. We want to try to get our children off these, cell phones and laptops and whatever it is that they give the kids. I mean, I see constantly families just giving them, or putting them in front of a TV. And I mean, that was bad enough, putting them in front of a TV for hours. Now it's on the go that they're doing all of this with babies. And we have to educate our parents and letting them know what it does to a child's brain, how it wires them to constantly be going. It's just too much information, too fast, too quick. There's so many beautiful activities that we can do with our children to develop their fine muscles, gross muscle. Take them out to a park, play with them, teach them how to hop, teach them how to jump on one foot, teach them how to skip. Some children don't know how to skip because, this was things we learned as young children. They don't know this. They're in front of a TV, most of their day. So these are things that we have to get our parents to realize, that the TV is not always a good resource. It has its good things, but it has its downfalls also. And Alex composed a few educational resources that you can tap into here. So and she also provided the links to get into them. But these are great resources, explore these resources so that you can also give your teachers an opportunity to explore them as well. And if they're struggling with ideas, then you can tap into these resources. It's not only for families, but it's also for good to practice in the classroom. Okay, so then you could do a family engagement calendar. Now, this calendar can compose, you could do it whichever way you feel is can work best for you as directors, or incorporate your teachers. I found this, exploring things in the internet, and I found that for every given month, there is a day, a specific day per day within the calendar.
So for instance, like on Friday, November 3rd, it's sandwich day. Make a sandwich with your child and just name in all the ingredients. So that one is a fun one. And even in the classroom, right? They can make their own sandwich for lunch, for snack. That one is really awesome. And then Saturday, it's book lovers day. So read, your child's favorite book. Some of them are also about World Freedom Day. So just do something fun and any activity that will make your child happy. What else? And then November 13 is World Kindness Days. So be kind by sharing a smile, right? And that one is another good one that they can do in the classroom. Maybe they can just talk about kindness altogether and what are some of the ways that we can be kind to each other.
Let me interject there, Alex.
Yeah.
And then in the classroom, if they do something like this in the classroom, you will know that you can write this out and or have the children draw pictures and then say what it is that how they want to show their kindness to someone, and then you could display it. So it becomes an activity that you could do at home, and it could be an activity that you do in the classroom, and that opens the door for continuing kindness throughout the year. So that's a good segue to continue for the whole year.
Do you all want to take a look at the website? Let me see. Let me stop sharing for a second. As Nikki said, this is a website that kind of tells you the whole holidays for the whole
year.
year.
The whole year.
So let's see. So these are the monthly holidays. And right here. So essentially these are all the days. So each month has their own kind of day, and some of them, like November 1st, has multiple things that are celebrating. Dia de los Muertos, Authors Day, World Vegan Day. Apparently there's a lot of them for multiple days. So you can pick and see which ones make sense for you, which ones are relatable to your program, to the things that maybe are matching the theme. So it's really fun if you wanted to take ideas as far as curriculum or family engagement, and it goes to the whole month, right, Nikki? It goes all
the entire month. And then the good thing is, if you click on them, the ones that you see in pink, it really explains what each day is about.
All right.
And so you, based on what it says, then you could also do an activity that can best replicate what it's being said there. So it gives you great ideas. It doesn't give you a written idea, but you can kind of like put something together for the young children. It's great. I love that website.
Wow, yeah, you're right. So World Peace Day, and then encourages kindness and teaches others to be peaceful. So this is really nice, even if you wanted to literally take this and share it with your families and extend that learning. It makes it a little bit easier to strive. I'm going to share this on the chat with you all so you have it.
And again, this is a great resources because you know, this is a way of engaging families. You're engaging them by giving these resources so that they can tap into.
And just to give you ideas, for you to play by ear, if it makes sense to incorporate it in your own practice, we just wanted you to have that as an additional resource. So we just wanted to end for anything that has been successful as far as your family engagement that you have implemented, or anything that you hope to implement in the future.
We have been implementing some of the things mentioned. The movie night, for example, is a very good one. I like the calendar, the idea here. We do newsletters, of course. We encourage them with the themes because sometimes parents don't know what's happening each month. So we would add that to the calendar to let them know, and ask them when they do come into the center, how is your child doing? Are they learning X, Y? Just to make sure that they are hearing a little of what's going on as it relates to the theme. So that's great. It's all good. Thanks so much.
I just want to say thank you. All the activities, the strategies, everything that we've been discussing throughout the weeks, everything is being, amazing. And thank you so much for all the support that you provide because, for us, the directors is difficult sometimes because the majority of the trainings and everything is provided to the teachers. the educational staff. But sometimes for us, the directors, to help us, to guide us, to refresh all this information in our head, sometimes we don't get the opportunity to receive this type of trainings just as a refresher for us. So it's been amazing. All the strategies, I love them. Thank you so much for sharing the calendar. Our social worker, Department of Education, he also provide a calendar every month. So maybe now I can, adjust the three calendars, our calendar, the Department of Education, and this one, because I noticed that it provide a lot of different family engaged activities that is going to be great. And I know the family, I know for sure that the family is going to be thrilled about all of this. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy, and I agree with you, Fabiola. I mean, as directors, you wear many hats. You're responsible for so much, and we just try to do the very best that we can on a daily basis. We're human as well, and I always found it difficult to delegate, and it took me a very long time to learn how to delegate. And sometimes for young directors that may be difficult at times because you don't feel that people could do things as best as you can do it. But in order to ease up some of the pressures that you have, try to start delegating, engage your teachers in doing these things as well, because they also feel that they're part of this community, and we want everybody to feel, the children, the teachers, even the even your staff, your kitchen staff, and your bookkeepers, everybody has a say on what's going on in our programs and how we can make our programs the very best that we can have. So I just want you guys to know that we're here available to you, and please make sure that you involved everyone so that they can help you as well. Your jobs are very, very difficult. I know that firsthand. So I want to wish you the very best for the end of the year, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure.
You everybody who has joined. We are so thrilled, and this is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to create a little community, a little network where we support each other, because we know that leadership in general, it's really hard. So we want to make it, as collectively shared and supportive as possible. So this is, you have no idea how happy
Oh,
this part is.
I,
So
I feel so good as well,
me
Alex. I
too.
feel
So
I feel that we accomplished what we set out, and I'm so happy that they got the resources and they feel good about them. And if there's anything that you feel that
I just want to say thank you. All the activities, the strategies, everything that we've been discussing throughout the weeks, everything is being, amazing. And thank you so much for all the support that you provide, because, for us, the directors is difficult sometimes, because the majority of the trainings and everything is provided to the teachers, the educational staff. But sometimes for us, the directors, to help us, to guide us, to refresh all this information in our head, sometimes we don't get the opportunity to receive this type of trainings just as a refresher for us. So it's been amazing. All the strategies, I love them. Thank you so much for sharing the calendar. Our social worker, Department of Education, he also provide a calendar every month. So maybe now I can, adjust the three calendars, our calendar, the Department of Education, and this one, because I noticed that it provide a lot of different family engaged activities that is going to be great. And I know the family, I know for sure that the family is going to be thrilled about all of this. So thank you.
you're welcome. I'm so happy, and I agree with you, Fabiola. I mean, as directors, you wear many hats. You're responsible for so much, and we just try to do the very best that we can on a daily basis. We're human as well, and I always found it difficult to delegate, and it took me a very long time to learn how to delegate. And sometimes for young directors that may be difficult at times, because you don't feel that people could do things as best as you can do it. But in order to ease up some of the pressures that you have, try to start delegating, engage your teachers in doing these things as well, because they also feel that they're part of this community, and we want everybody to feel, the children, the teachers, even your staff, your kitchen staff, and your bookkeepers, everybody has a say on what's going on in our programs and how we can make our programs the very best that we can have. So I just want you guys to know that we're here available to you, and please make sure that you involved everyone so that they can help you as well. Your jobs are very, very difficult. I know that firsthand. So I want to wish you the very best for the end of the year, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure. We should tweak or refine. Please let us know as well, okay?
Yes, or any new topics as well, because we're gonna keep going depending on what you need. So if there's a specific topic or whatever you feel like you need, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I really
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thank you for being part of our community. We really appreciate you.